I sent my boss to the emergency room right when they were going to fire me, but what they said next, I never would have expected. I'm typing this from home as my work unexpectedly received a half day for my antics. So my boss and I have been having a little prank war. Nothing extravagant, nothing harmful, just fun little office pranks to keep spirits up.
Love it.
I work in corporate insurance, so most of my days are spent behind a desk, and it gets pretty boring at times. Well, my boss pranked me good last week with the help of an IT guy that sent an email, which the font size in the email slowly decreased, and then all of a sudden a picture of a baboon's ass popped up with a farting noise, which my boss made sure the sound was all the way up on my little desk speakers. This is such a Michael Scott boss.
Is this literally The Office?
Scared the crap out of me.
I could have dropped my croissant.
And made my coworkers laugh like hell. Anyway, I'm thinking about getting him back.
Oh, yeah.
Revenge. My buddy works on the same floor, but has permission to come in a little earlier as he is in management and starts his projects before my coworkers come in. I go in early with him and let him know the master plan. So I brought a spider and some fishing line. The spider is a realistic looking model that I tied to the fishing line and placed above his desk on the ceiling, running the line with some cables in the ground and then behind a picture on the wall. The office ceiling is brown/black color, so unless you look really, really hard, you're not gonna notice the spider.
Smart.
I feel like someone's gonna get a heart attack. I don't know if you've ever seen that episode of The Office where Stanley gets a heart attack.
You are black, Stanley! I'm gonna give him mouth to mouth. No.
That is my favorite episode of all time.
So good. I waited until after lunch to spring the trap.
Yeah.
I walked into his office. What's up, boss? Blah, blah, blah. He's sitting at his desk, prime position for a spider drop down.
Yeah.
So I go to tie my shoe and unhook the fishing line that I tapped to the leg of his desk. I started lowering the spider. Eventually, the spider comes down and touches his nose.
Ooh.
He starts freaking out, falls out of his chair, clutching his chest, gasping for air. I just kind of stood there. Oh my God, this really is.
This is really
This is
happening.
The Office, bro.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
I just kind of stood there in shock, like, shit. Anyway, the paramedics come.
Wow.
I bet you this boss had a heart attack.
Dude,
No
that got
way.
so out of hand so quickly.
My other manager releases us for the day, and here I am realizing I might have killed my boss. And we're not done yet.
I mean, best way to get a promotion, honestly.
So I will begin where I left off yesterday. Paramedics loaded my boss onto a wheeled stretcher and put him in the back of an ambulance to go off to the hospital. I seriously thought that he was in big trouble because the paramedics were treating him like he was having a severe heart attack. He looked like he was on the verge of dying as they loaded him up. Anyways, afterwards, my other manager tells us all to go home. It was Labor Day, so there weren't that many people working. I go home and am freaking out, nervous as hell, until my manager called me and told me my boss was stable, but it was close. Come in tomorrow for a 10 a.m. We need to have a discussion.
Oh my God.
I don't know. What do you think's going to happen?
I mean, did someone like rat him out?
At this point, I'm freaking out because I'm thinking, shit, I'm going to get fired over a stupid ass spider prank. I get into work about 9:50 and I make the dreaded trip up to my desk. At this point, everyone in the office knew that I basically killed our boss, and literally everyone stopped to stare at me.
Oh.
I just kind of tried to keep my head down as I was thoroughly embarrassed. I got to my cubicle and my manager was already standing there. Don't put your stuff away. This will only take a moment.
What a tragic sentence to hear.
He takes me back to my boss's office, which I thought was where he was going to ask what the spider on the fishing line was doing there. And then after I answered, fire me immediately.
Basically.
Well, let's see what happened.
Yep.
So door was already open. And after I walk in, my manager tells me to take a seat. And then he closes the door after I step in. He stayed out. So I guess there's an empty office. I sat down pretty much sweating out of my clothes. And all of a sudden, to add insult to injury, my boss sneaks up behind me and yells, "Thought I was dead, huh?"
Gotta get it back at least, right?
What a legend. At this point, I'm relieved, terrified, and just generally shook. And he sits me down and tells me how he did it. Apparently, the manager, my buddy from the last post that let me in early on Labor Day, told him about the entire plan. My boss knew about the spider and pretty much planned around my move. The effer literally let a bunch of workers have a half day to foil my prank and got his EMT buddy to make a quick stop by to treat his heart attack, quote unquote.
No.
I'm never pranking my boss again. On a good note, I'm not fired.
Wow. I mean,
That is an insane prank.
the
war.
level of prank to get a fake paramedic That like, how does that even work? Like, are you allowed to just be like, oh, hey boss, I'm just taking a swing around the neighborhood real quick with the old DR
I guess
paramedic
so.
car. What do you call it? The ambulance.
Ambulance.
I almost called it a paramedic car.
Hey, that works too.
That works too. Wow.
But that's also, I love how intense the boss is about these pranks, that he will literally have people take a half day to make the prank come alive.
I mean, honestly, like, shout out to that. That sounds like a fun boss. Like,
Yeah.
terrifying to work for, but not for like the wrong reasons at
Yeah.
least, right?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, gang, would you rather have this boss or your current boss?
Would you rather have a terrible prankster boss or a terrible monster boss?
I would probably pick prankster boss, but
Yeah.
let us know immediately. Put it in the comments and we'll see you soon.